Hi friends, welcome back to another week of Stories in the Stacks with Summer, Home Edition. My name is Summer Reyes and I am one of many volunteers at the Kaiser Community Library. How have you all been doing? What have you been doing? It's been about a week or so since I've been here, but I've been thinking about all of you and I hope that you're doing well. And of course, I hope that you're reading. Friends, did you know that the Kaiser Community Library Summer Reading Program is about to start? This Monday, on June 15th, from 1 to 3 p.m., you can come and pick up a summer reading packet out on the patio. I'll be there, and I hope to see you guys there too. And guess what, friends? If you can't make it on Monday, those summer reading packets will also be available on June 22nd and June 29th from 1 to 3 p.m. on the patio. I hope that you guys will come and join our free summer reading program. The last time that we gathered for Stories in the Stacks with Summer Home Edition, I shared Invitation, which is the first poem in this collection of poetry by Shel Silverstein. If you weren't here last week, friends, or if you just haven't watched that video yet, I suggested that we learn this poem, Invitation, so that we can read it together when we are able to gather safely in the Kaiser Community Library. Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire. For we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. I'm so glad that you're here. This week on Stories in the Stacks with Summer is a special one. Last week, the Salem Riverfront Carousel celebrated their 19th birthday. Many of you know that I'm a volunteer down at the carousel too. I help run the ride, work in the token booth, and help during special events. The Salem Riverfront Carousel is very special to me. It's a place that I've always felt welcome and always felt included from the moment I first went in. Have you guys ever been there? Today I'm going to share with you a little bit about the history of the carousel. I'll share some stories from some books that I borrowed from my friends there. And we'll do a little bit of an art project at the end. I urge you, when the library reopens, to go into the children's library and check out the display there. I was able to borrow some great goodies from my friends at the Salem Riverfront Carousel, and they will be on display when the library reopens. The first book that I'm going to share with you is titled Everypony Has a Tale. And friends, it is a compilation of stories, poems, and songs. What I'm going to share with you out of this book is the very last page, friends, where it has a little bit about the carousel's history. Salem's Riverfront Carousel began as a dream of one woman, Hazel Patton, who inspired an entire community to create a work of art that will stand as a symbol of volunteerism and cooperation for generations to come. One of the many reasons why I love the Kaiser Community Library and the Salem Riverfront Carousel is because of the volunteerism. I think it's really beautiful when the community comes out and shows support to keep wonderful organizations open and thriving. Friends, did you know that every single animal, every flower, every carving on the carousel tells a story? Just like every single book in the library. Mr. Hopkins is on the carousel, you guys. He is a tennis playing frog. And did you know when he first came out and was placed on the carousel, his foot got broken and he had to go right back in and get it repaired. The newest member of the carousel came out last year in October. Emerald the dragon. And friends, did you know that Emerald was named by some students in our community? And Emerald even has 3 babies on the back of her. And did you know those 3 babies have names too? Does anyone know what their names are? Friends, the next story that I'm going to share with you comes from this book, Salem's Riverfront Carousel, the community that came along for the ride. And if you notice this right here, friends, it says the Carver's copy. I was able to borrow this from the Carvers at the carousel. Isn't that cool? So this book is filled with pictures and stories about the history of the carousel, how it all came about, how it all came together, the community, the people, the volunteers. And as you start going, there's photos and a little bio about each of the animals. This book is actually out of print, friends, but I know that there's copies out there. I know that our friends over at the Reader's Guide in West Salem have some copies for sale in their store. There are so many wonderful stories about the animals on the carousel in this book, and I wish I could share them all with you. But friends, I picked out one special story from this book today, and it is about my friend, Magic. The reason I picked the story about Magic to share with you guys is because as a ride operator, I've seen how special Magic is to our community. Boys and girls, adults, grandmas, grandpas, everybody wants a ride on Magic. Have you had the pleasure of taking a ride on Magic? I know I have. There's Magic. He's really beautiful. Magic sits in the middle row of the carousel. Magic. Winged unicorns aren't thought to be native in the Willamette Valley. That's where we live, friends, in the Willamette Valley. But that didn't stop the Salem Riverfront Carousel Board of Directors from dreaming one up. With a little magic, you see, anything is possible. Here's a carousel horse like no other. A powerful creature with feathery iridescent wings, a coiled horn, and the ability to conjure up fantastic daydreams of high-flying adventure. With a horse like this, the sky's the limit. It seems a fitting symbol for a group of people whose goals were never grounded by convention. In fact, when longtime community activist Hazel Patton shared her vision for bringing a carousel to Salem, the first volunteers and visionaries were affectionately dubbed the Dream Team. Isn't that a cool name? Jim Wiles was an early enthusiast, won over by Patton's love of community, her leadership, and energy. As the project took shape and the horses became available for adoption, the board voted to collectively sponsor a horse. Jim and board member Susan Thompson consulted lead artist Sandy Walker for design ideas. The board hoped to sponsor a horse that would be a favorite among school children. Jim also had his own 7-year-old daughter, Anna, in mind. "She's nuts about carousels," he explained. "When the family went to see the Missoula Carousel, we calculated that she rode that thing over 6 miles. She had already memorized the names of all the horses," he exclaimed. Susan suggested the board choose a unicorn, and it just went from there. Initially, a design committee had asked that the horses represent the Willamette Valley. And a Pegasus unicorn doesn't quite work, Wiles admitted. So Sandy Walker and Jim Wiles spun their own story of how a young girl who lived in Missouri during the 1800s had to leave her favorite horse when her family moved west. While camping just east of the Cascade Mountains, she dreamed that her beloved horse became magic, sprouting wings and flying her high above the mountaintops to see the beautiful valley where her family would come to settle. It's not hard to imagine magic as that mystical mount. Stars sprinkle his creamy white coat, shooting the swirling down his neck. Jewels gleam in his bridle. A tiny cluster of strawberries tucked behind his lavender saddle honors the fertile Willamette Valley, magic's new home. In addition, each board member who helped adopt Magic choose a symbol to be depicted in the 21 gold medallions that flash among his trappings. Each glittering disc, a small story. Magic reminds us to keep our dreams alive and our horizons wide open. He is a carousel horse who refuses to be earthbound. You guys, the carousel has to remove Magic quite often because he is so frequently ridden that he has to get repainted. Literally, his paint rubs right off of his body from all the riders. This is another book that is available at the carousel in the gift shop for sale. This one is called The General's Secret. And I'm not going to share this story with you today because it is quite long, but it is a really cool story. I'll just show you. Oh, there's Magic. Friends, as our community reopens and the Salem Carousel is able to open safely, you can come in to the carousel, and when the Carver Studio is open, you can pick up these packets of animal DNA that the Carver say. Friends, animal DNA is exactly as it sounds. Amazing wood carvings from each of the animals. And these are for you to take home and enjoy. Keeping the dream alive. I was thinking of doing another freestyle creative time. While doing these stories in the stacks from home, it's hard for me to plan art projects because I'm not sure what you guys have to use at home. So today I was thinking of tying in that freestyle creative time with the Salem Riverfront Carousel. And friends, I thought we could create our own carousel animals. If you could design an animal for the carousel, what would it be? Each animal on the carousel, friends, starts right here, and then it goes right onto paper. So all you need is a sheet of paper. It can be any kind of paper. It doesn't matter if it has lines on it, doesn't matter the color, any piece of paper that you can use. And friends, you could use any sort of pens, markers, crayons, pencils, anything that you like to draw with. If you want to create an animal on your page that has bells glued to it or glitter on it, and those are the supplies you have in your home, if you only have one marker or one pen, I would love to see your carousel creations. You can bring them, friends, when you come to get your summer reading packets on Monday, June 15th at the library, or you can send them to the Kaiser Community Library. You can even send them to the carousel. They would love to see your creations too. So all we're gonna do is take this one sheet of paper, friends, and what I'm gonna do is, because I do have a handy black marker here, I'm just gonna draw one line right down the middle of my paper. Because you know, right, that all the animals are on a pole. Did you know that on the Salem Riverfront Carousel that not all the animals go up and down? Did you know that there are two sides, right, to every animal? One side is called the romance side, and that is the side that faces out on the carousel. So friends, what you're going to do is, you don't want to draw the front of your animal because it's going to be hard to see. What you want to do is draw the romance side of your animal. The animal that's going to be facing out, and that everybody that's not able to ride on the carousel quite yet is going to be able to see. All right, friends, in this book of the Salem Riverfront Carousel's history, I was able to find a photo of one of the drawings of Ambassador. And see the lines here for the pole of the carousel. And then this side, friends, is what they call the romance side. So it's the side that sticks out and that everyone can see. I think that we should all draw the romance side of our animals so that we can show as much or as little detail of our animal as we would like to show. Well, what are you thinking about drawing? Which animal comes to mind when you think about creating something for Salem's Riverfront Carousel? I do consider myself a creative, but not so much an artist. I'm not a great drawer, friends, but I am going to work on this. And I hope that you'll work on yours too. And I hope that you will come on Monday to the Kaiser Community Library out on the patio from 1 to 3 p.m. and come show me your carousel creation. I'll bring mine. I'll work on mine, have it done. I'll bring mine and show it to you. And you can also pick up your summer reading packet. And I hope to see you. I miss you guys. And if I haven't met you yet, come say hi. I hope that you're all doing well, reading and thriving. See you next week.